Well, Jennifer, this sounds like huge news.
Sean, we can report, based on senior military sources, that U.S. warplanes have carried out airstrikes tonight inside Syria against Iranian proxy forces. We don't know the number of strikes. We were told earlier today to expect that perhaps F-15s and F-16s would be involved in the airstrikes, but we don't have confirmation yet about how many warplanes. But those strikes have been carried out. I'm told it is in response to the more than dozen strikes against U.S. bases. The message is a clear message designed to Iran and its proxy forces to stop carrying out these drone and rocket attacks against U.S. bases. But I'm told that the planes have safely left the area and that the airstrikes are complete at this time. They were targeting multiple locations inside Syria and Iranian proxy forces, Sean.
Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who taught me this truth, and peace and blessings with all sincerity to the hopeful elect. It's Zakar'Yah coming at you with another lesson, and Lord's willing, and be edifying. So I want to touch on this clip from Redacted and just speak on the third's woe. All right. You're seeing words like Armageddon, World War III being mentioned a lot lately. And that's because pertaining to biblical prophecy, that's what's about to happen. That's what's about to befall the earth. So I'm going to grab my first precept. This is Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3. And it reads, "The Lord Yahweh is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh is his name." Right. The Lord Yahweh is a power of war. And he's about to put together the war of Armageddon. Okay. The most lavish and spectacular war that you've ever seen. Okay. Going into the Third World's War. And all these things that are taking place, you're about to find out, is leading to just that. This is Revelation chapter 9 and verse 12. "One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter." Woes represent destruction. Woes represent world wars. So World War I is past, and there come two woes hereafter. All right. So from there, we're going to get Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly." World War II has passed, and World War III approaches quickly, as you can see by what's taking place on the earth right now. Okay? It's no more time for playing games. These prophecies are speaking. So let's get into a little bit of this clip from Redacted, which is entitled, "We Are Watching Armageddon Unfold Before Our Eyes."
Well, the United States is ramping up additional assets, money, weapons to the Middle East. Israel says it will wipe Iran off the face of the earth if Hezbollah intervenes in Gaza. The Turks seem to be motivated to mediate. We heard from Erdogan over the past few minutes saying he would like to mediate a peace. This flies in the face of what Secretary of State Antony Blinken just said over the weekend, which is we're not interested in any kind of ceasefire, which is unbelievable. Joining me now is Colonel Douglas Macgregor, who just wrote a new piece saying that the Biden administration should lead the charge to support a ceasefire. Colonel, it appears they're really going in the opposite direction with Blinken's comments yesterday and now Erdogan coming out and saying, hey, we're happy to mediate a peace here.
No, I think that's true. And it looks as though the same people controlling events in Jerusalem are controlling events in Washington. And they are unanimous in their desire for a major war. And I don't think people understand the implications. People are viewing this as Hamas as an enemy that richly deserves to be destroyed. There's no argument about that. The problem is, if you want to destroy Hamas, how do you go about doing it? And collective punishment that involves 2.2 million people is not a very popular way to do business, and particularly at this point in time, because the whole region is seething with anger over the attacks on the civilians in Gaza. There's no debate in the rest of the region about who's responsible. It's Israel. So you have the Israelis and all of their neighbors talking past each other. We are in a position to somehow or another address that and move this out of the realm of inevitable regional war into something more manageable. But there doesn't seem to be any interest in doing so.
The United States moving aircraft carriers, additional assets into the region. You make the point that this, you're right there involved in this. This is a very dangerous prospect for the United States.
Oh, it is. And people don't seem to understand that today's Middle East is radically different from the Middle East of 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. The last major war was the 73 war, where Egypt and Syria attacked Israel, and Israel ultimately prevailed, although it was from time to time touch and go. Today, the Arab states are far more, I would argue, cohesive. The governments are stronger, they have more technology at their disposal, and there's a greater willingness to weigh in collectively. And today we're also talking about Turkey and Iran as playing a major role, and as a result, Russia. Russia cannot sit idly by if Iran ends up being attacked by us. It will feel obligated to intervene because the Iranians have supported the Russians against the Ukrainian proxies. So this
Okay, he speaks of Russia being obligated to help Iran. Okay, if push comes to shove. Okay, if America and the state of Israel attacks Iran. All right, now this is all biblical prophecy. This is Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 1. Salakia. It reads, "And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog," okay, which is Russia, "the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal." Right, because even the Lord is just using these Russians as a means to an end. Okay, he's not with Russia, even though Russia is against America. Okay, they're all Edomites. The Lord is just using them as a means to an end, like I said. "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws." Meaning the Lord is going to gas Russia up, going to pump Russia up, put Russia into that old USSR spirit that I can't be fucked with, that I'm the bear. Okay? That Zangief from Street Fighter, that big muscle-bound Russian. Okay? With all the scars. And that's what the Lord is doing, putting the battery in Russia's back. "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company, with bucklers and shield, all them handling swords." Persians, okay, the Persians are modern day Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, and all them with shields and helmet. Gomer, and all the bands of the house of Togarmah, of the north quarter, and all the bands and many people. Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be a guard unto them. Right. And that's what you're witnessing. Okay? That is exactly what you're witnessing. You're witnessing Russia, okay, becoming a guard to these other nations, man. Okay, against America, Babylon the Great. And this is the area, okay? You see Libya, you see Egypt, you see Saudi Arabia, Iraq, okay, Syria, Turkey, Iran, all right? And what did the Lord say? The Lord said he's going to gather all these nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of Yehoshaphat, man, the valley of the Lord's decision, the valley of the Lord's judgment, okay? The Lord is about to bring judgment on these nations, okay, for chiefly touching the apple of his eye and disrespecting his name and his image and basically crucifying him in this earth, okay, crucifying the truth of our Heavenly Father, okay. In Revelations, it says, you know, the place where our Lord was crucified. So from here, let's get another precept. This is Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 8. It reads, "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fury of my jealousy." And the Lord is jealous over his people, man. And at the end of the day, a lot of death is coming. You have, Joe Biden speaking about the draft. Okay. The draft is the number one trending subject, on social media, on Google. These millennials or these generation Gen Zs are starting to be worried about being drafted, which, by the way, is the Gen Zs voted for Biden. Okay, the majority of the Gen Zs voted for their president, Biden. All right, so you can vote for him, but you don't want to fight for your country. Well, hey, you don't have a choice. All right, you don't have a choice, because what is the Lord doing? This is Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 4. It reads, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh of hosts mustereth the host of the battle." Right, the Lord is gathering all these nations over there to the Middle East. All right, the scripture says, roughly paraphrasing, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and he turneth it whichever way he willeth. Okay, meaning the king's mind. Okay, the Lord controls the kings of the earth and all of our minds, and he does what he wants, and he is put in situations, okay, and circumstances together, and putting these nations in the positions where they have to fight. Russia doesn't really want to go to war because he knows that this is going to be the be all end all war. But Russia has no choice because of the things that America, Babylon the Great, is doing. Okay, continuing to encroach on its border, continuing to spread east and to rain havoc. But this is all the Lord's doing. This is all the Lord's doing. So real quick, let's look up this word Armageddon. I pulled it up in the Antimon online, and it says Armageddon. It says cataclysmic final conflict. Figurative use of the place name in Revelation, the 16th chapter. The site of the great and final conflict. Okay? It says Mount of Megiddo. It says a city in central Palestine, the site of important Israelite battles. All right. So let's get a little bit more of this video.
This has the ingredients in it for a very major war. Now, we're escalating. Iranians have supported the Russians against the Ukrainian proxies. So this has the ingredients in it for a very major war. Now, we're escalating across the boards. We seem to think that escalation works. We've tried that in Ukraine. We've escalated and escalated and escalated, and today Ukraine is in ruins. My great fear is that if this regional war unfolds as I think it might, there may be no Israel at the end of it.
Yeah, you're
Israel's a
right.
very
You
country.
write in your piece that Israel could become the next Ukraine if we don't watch out. How do you mean?
Well, first of all, Hezbollah that sits up in the north is not simply backed by Iran, but we estimate they have 100 to 150,000 of their own fighters. Plus, some estimates are between 130,000 and 140,000 rockets and missiles, of which at least 40,000 are extremely precise. Now, there's enough armament in Hezbollah to destroy half of Israel. Hezbollah has made it clear that if, in fact, the Israelis march into Gaza with the objective of rooting out Hamas and without regard, frankly, to the loss of life there, and, let's be honest, if you're going to march into a city and fight, the notion that you can pick and choose your targets is absurd. So the loss of life will be enormous. This
Right. And just like in my last lesson, I pointed that out. Once they go into which I believe they've already undergone the ground attack on Gaza, but once you go in there, there's no differentiating the enemy from civilians. They're gonna go in there and just blast everything. All right, and they've already said it. A lot of their leaders have already said that the state of Israel's leader said that they don't care. All right.
is the catalyst for a regional war. And the Iranians have said it. The Turks have said it. Everyone who can pick and choose your targets is absurd of rooting out Hamas and without regard, frankly, to the loss of life there. And, let's be honest, if you're going to march into a city and fight, the notion that you can pick and choose your targets is absurd. So the loss of life will be enormous. This is the catalyst for a regional war. And the Iranians have said it. The Turks have said it. Everyone has said this is unacceptable. King Hussein, or not Hussein, but Abdullah in Jordan gave a brilliant speech in Cairo explaining that he shared the Israelis' horror at what had happened to them and thought that they had responded reasonably under the circumstances, but said collective punishment that involves 2.2 million people and driving them out of their homes and into the desert is simply unacceptable. And this is an impasse because we have a full court press of the United States to emphasize why we should be doing this, why we should be co-belligerents with Israel. And that's effectively what we're becoming in a very real sense. And that puts us at risk of confrontation with Iran, with the Turks, and with Russia.
Israel over the weekend saying that they will consider civilians who are in the northern part remain in North Gaza.
So, as you can see, the Lord is stirring things up, man. Mustering the host of the battle, man. All right. So let's get a few more precepts and we'll call it quits. This is Revelation chapter 16 and verse 15. Behold, I come as a thief. Okay, who is it speaking of? Yahweh Shai, who you people ignorantly call Jesus. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. Right. Watch as well as pray. Okay, because you don't want to be an example of Zephaniah 1 and 12. And it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles. And Jerusalem is a people before a place. It's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners that are scattered abroad. And punish the men that are settled on their lees, that say in their heart, the Lord Yahweh will not do good, neither will he do evil. Right. If you know this truth and have this truth, your job is to warn the people. The Lord told Peter 3 times to feed his sheep. Okay. Warn the people of this impending doom. Warn the people that America, Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed in 1 hour. All right. And other parts of the world also by intercontinental ballistic missiles shot off in this third world war. All right. So once again, Revelation 16 and 15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garment, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. All right. And ultimately, what's going to happen? All right. Revelation, the 18th chapter, goes over the destruction of America, Babylon the Great. But I'm just going to get to the point. Read it on your own time. Okay. Straight to the point. Revelations 18 and 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her. The her is that whore, America, Babylon the Great. When they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. All right. And that's what's going to happen to America, Babylon the Great, destroyed in 1 hour by intercontinental ballistic missiles. And to the people that the Lord isn't dealing with, okay, whether it's 2/3 of the nation of Israel, and the Lord definitely ain't dealing with you heathen nations, I'm going to give you a visual of what you can expect when these missiles hit. Zakar'Yah chapter 14 and verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Right. Sarah Connor, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, when she was holding on to the fence. Hope that's enough of a visual for you. All right. This is going to happen. This is going to take place as it is written. So shall it be done. So Lord's willing, this was edifying. Shalom, Israel.